So this video is going to be a part of my series about how I'm slowly transitioning to an all-electric vehicle fleet for my own personal use. So it all started with the Prius. I've always been interested in efficiency. I've been interested in electric vehicles ever since I saw Who Killed the Electric Car, like most of us EV enthusiasts out there. And to me, the Prius was the first natural step. You can run on pure electricity, and it's affordable, and there are a ton of them out there. I bought when I was in college, so I didn't have a ton of money. I paid cash for it. It's been a great car, like I said before. But when I first tested over the Prius and I was able to move forward using just electricity, no engine, it was kind of like a revelation. Like, oh my gosh, why aren't we all doing this? You know, quiet, smooth, very slowly, of course, because it's a Prius. But it's like, it just was a revelation, and I've kept going from there. What's going on, YouTube? I wanted to talk about my 2013 Toyota Prius for the longest time. It's been an amazing car. I've had it since 2015, had it for a little over 4 years now. It's what I call my workhorse. It's my gas guzzler. It's an amazing car. It's been great. We've only had to do corrective maintenance on it once just recently. It's just clocked over 167,000 miles. And the only thing we've had to do with it is regular oil changes, tire rotations. I've had the spark plugs changed at 120,000 miles. I've had the fluids changed around 100,000 miles. And that's really about it. You know, air filters, just like the little things that need to be replaced over time. So the purpose of this video today is I did some calculations, and I want to show you guys how much money you can really save on fuel costs when you drive a very efficient car, a hybrid. But before we get into those calculations, what exactly is a Prius? How does it run? How does it operate? So I own a Prius, which is a hybrid vehicle. I own a 2013 Chevy Volt, which is a plug-in hybrid vehicle that operates a different way. And then I own, obviously you know this if you know my channel, I own a 2018 Zero SR, which is a 100% EV electric vehicle. Okay, so what is a Prius? How does it work? So a Prius works like any other car. You just put gas in it. You just fuel it up like any other car. And what a Prius has is a separate, bigger battery, the traction battery, and it has an electric motor that can propel the vehicle via electricity all on its own. So it doesn't need the engine to propel the vehicle. But the ultimate goal of that electric motor and that bigger battery is to get the most miles per gallon that you can from the engine. It really is an engine assist in a way. It's really there to get the most MPGs possible. So in a Prius, when you accelerate at a very slow speed, you're going to stay in that EV mode and the engine's not going to get hot. So you'll be able to travel with just pure electricity. And as you accelerate quicker and you get faster, eventually the engine will kick on and the engine will help power the vehicle, and those two will work in conjunction. So really the electric motor supplements the engine on the Prius and to increase that fuel economy. And every time you let off the Prius, the gas in the Prius, like to slow down, the engine will cut off. So all that time you're sitting in traffic, you're slowing down, you're not only regenerating energy back into the battery through regenerative braking, because Priuses have those, you're also not burning any fuel, which increases your average miles per gallon. Because if you don't know this, when your car's idling, you're essentially getting negative miles per gallon because you're using gasoline, but you're not moving forward. So that's the idea of the Prius. I'll get into this more in another video when I go over my 2013 Volt, but essentially a Volt is a plug-in hybrid. So what does that mean? It has a much bigger battery as well as a gasoline engine. So the idea of the Volt is not to maximize MPGs when you're using fuel. It is to run on electricity alone for most of the time. But if you run out of that charge, which on my Volt, I can usually go 40 to 45 miles on a charge. If I run out of that, it just switches over to the gasoline generator and you just keep on going. You can just put fuel in it from there. Now, the way I drive, my commute to work is about 10 miles one way, 10 miles back. So on a given day, I drive usually anywhere from 20 to 30 miles. So I rarely have to use gas unless I go further in one day. So that's the idea with the Volt. And it's a very hard sell because unless you research it and know about it and want to find out about it, it's kind of hard to wrap your brain around. Well, I can only go 40 miles. If I want an EV, I want an EV that can go 200 miles. Well, yes, but how often do you drive 200 miles? So the idea of the Volt is, or any plug-in hybrid really, is to maximize that time when you're just using electricity and have that gas generator backup. And of course, when you have a 100% EV like a Tesla or a Chevy Bolt with a B, as in boy, or a Nissan Leaf or anything that's 100% pure electric, you can't put gas in it unless you fill up a gas can and then put it in the trunk. Obviously those just run on electricity and you have to charge them. There's no other way. Yes, they do charge via regenerative braking, but there's a certain law of thermodynamics and the fact that a perpetual motion machine is not a real thing, that it helps with efficiency and putting juice back in the battery, but you're not gonna be able to charge the battery unless you go down a big hill. Unfortunately, you have to climb that big hill in the first place, so yeah, go figure. So I'm gonna quit running my big mouth and go into the data and how in the 4 years that I've owned my 2013 Prius, I've saved over $3,200 in fuel costs when compared to the average MPGs of a new vehicle. Let's get into it. Okay, so 2013 Prius fuel costs and savings, all right? So I did some research and I found the average fuel economy of a new vehicle from 2013 to 2019. All right, 2019, the average fuel economy of a new vehicle is 27, but it was lower than the years prior, so I just kind of did a nice conservative figure of 26, okay? So then I've got EPA of my 2013 Prius, all right? Now, based on fueleconomy.gov, which is this website here, as you can see, my 2013 Toyota Prius, 48 is the combined city highway miles per gallon that fueleconomy.gov, which is part of the U.S. Department of Energy, rated at, okay? So that's what I'm going off of. Obviously, the Prius can get much better gas mileage, and it can also get worse gas mileage depending on how you drive. All right, so then I figured out miles driven since owned. All right, I bought in 2015 with 96,000 miles, and odometer reading as of October 1st of this year was 167,642 miles. Subtract one from the other, you get 71,642, and then I just calculated yearly mileage, so it's been a little bit over 4 years of ownership, but I just divided that number divided by 4, and me and my wife have driven 17,911 miles roughly per year, okay? Obviously, some years we've driven more, some years we've driven less, but that just gives you a good average, okay? This is not an exact science. So, average cost of regular unleaded fuel per year of ownership. So I just researched and found the average national price of fuel, regular unleaded gasoline, for every year that we've owned the car, okay? So you can read those numbers there. Obviously, not everywhere we put gas in 2018 was $2.72 a gallon. Obviously, right? Okay, so again, not an exact science, but these are the numbers. All right, so here's where the calculations get fun. Here's where I love Excel. So money spent on fuel per year for my Prius, and then money spent on fuel per year for same mileage in a vehicle that gets 26 mpg. All right, so to calculate this, got my little formula up here. I don't know if you're interested. If not, you can skip ahead in the video, but I took my mileage per year, divided it by 12, which gave me the rough mileage that we drove per month. And then I multiplied it by 4 for this 2015 because I calculated September, October, November, December, 4 months of driving that car. And then 2016, 2017, 2018 were full years. And then for 2019, I took that monthly mileage and I times it by 9 because that's how many months that have passed this year. Divided by, and as I explained this before, divided by 48, which is the number in cell B7, times the price of fuel for that year. Okay. Yep. So that's how much I spent every year since we've owned the car in fuel, roughly. Okay. Then I just took those same calculations, and the only variable I changed was the miles per gallon. And as you can see, that's the difference per year and spent on fuel. Okay, so I summed all those years up for both, and then I calculated my savings, so let's see what it is. All right, so reveal, blah, total spent on gasoline for my 2013 Prius in 4 years. You can read that number, a little over almost $3,800. And if you calculate that against a car that gets 26 miles per gallon, you spend almost $7 grand. So what's the savings? $3,203.61. Now, if you notice when there's a new car, the placard on the windshield has a estimated fuel savings compared to the average new vehicle. Now, if you go back to fueleconomy.gov and scroll down, it'll show you this. You save $3,000 in fuel costs over 5 years compared to the average new vehicle. So why are my calculations already over $3,000 in 4 years of ownership. Okay, well that's because that mileage, that $3,000, oops, is based off of, let's see here, 15,000 annual miles. Now we've driven more than that every year, obviously. So that's why that savings is already greater. Okay. All right, the fun part here. So I did a side-by-side comparison on fueleconomy.gov. I pulled up my 2013 Volt. As you can see, miles per gallon E, which I've explained in other videos. It gets 98 miles per gallon E, and then with the gasoline engine, it turns on, it gets 37 miles per gallon, which isn't bad. Anyway, so I decided to say, let's say instead of buying that Prius when we bought a 2013 Toyota Tacoma 4-wheel drive, 6-cylinder, automatic 5-speed. It gets 18 miles per gallon. Okay, so that's a very popular vehicle right now. Let's imagine I've driven that the same exact mileage for the last 4 years, and let's see what we got. Okay, so same calculations, just changed one variable. That would be this one right here. Oh, change that back to 18. So I love Excel. Nope, not even showing you the right numbers. Shame on me, look at that. So you'll spend $10,096.22 in fuel costs driving the same miles based on the same calculations. And how much do you save if you drove a Prius? In 4 years compared to a Toyota Tacoma, I've saved $6,310.13. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Hey, we're low tech here, bear with me. So a lot of people drive big trucks, and I think they're throwing a lot of money away. If you need a big truck for your company or business, and you can take that deduction on your taxes every time you put gas in it, and the cost of the vehicle, great, all for it. But if it's your daily driver, you're throwing money in the trash can just to drive a truck and think you look cool when nobody really gives a shit. All right, so a 2013 Ford F-150 pickup, 4-wheel drive. You're a man, so you got the 8-cylinder automatic, 6.2 liter. You're gonna get combined 13 miles per gallon. This is where it gets interesting. So I changed my one variable over here that's embedded in my calculations, 13 miles per gallon. If you drive that instead of a Prius in 4 years, you have spent $10,193.29 more. Man, I really suck at this. You spend $10,193.29 more than if you drove a Prius. To some people, it's worth it to drive a truck. To me, it's not. It's stupid. Not to mention the additional maintenance and blah blah blah, insurance, all that other stuff. So that's a big number. $10,000 in 4 years. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of payment on a mortgage. That's a lot of payment on a car, whatever. I mean, you can change these numbers around. So, like, let's say you have a Civic or something that gets 40 mpg. So it kind of evens out more. You still save some money by driving a Prius. And let's say you're a hypermiler and you have something that gets 60 mpg. Well, then you're spending $757 more by driving a Prius. So that's why I like Excel. You can kind of play around with one number variable. 48 miles per gallon, that's what the Prius gets, evens out. And those are my two references I used for this video, as well as doing some searches on Google. I love electric vehicles. I love efficiency. What I don't love is spending unnecessary money, throwing money away, and being stupid. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I enjoyed making it. I enjoyed calculating it. I enjoy knowing that by driving a very fuel efficient car, I have indeed saved money. Obviously, I would save a lot more money by not having a car, but I actually like to enjoy life and live a little bit. So this has been USMC Saxoki. As always, live smarter, live simpler, live with more money. Saxoki your life. Go buy a Prius. They're great cars if you want to go down that route. And I will see you next time.